Welcome back to Inside Texas with the Girl Herd.
Hello, everybody.
Hi,
Looking
friends.
very nice after a holiday weekend. Some fun in the sun.
Yes, I was thinking that getting ready for the show with y'all. I was like, man, like feeling so refreshed. I love it. And today we're going to do something a little bit different. We're getting close to the season now. So we just want to talk about all the things we're looking forward to and most excited about. Keep it lighthearted today. Before we get into that, Inside Texas is running a promo right now. You can join Inside Texas today. New members only for just $1 until 8:30, which is the first game of the season. The best board out there in the biz. Get the latest recruiting news, team news, etc. Inside Texas. Join it today for just $1. All right. So let's get right into it. I mean, truly, we're almost 50 days till kickoff. Like, what are we most looking forward to? What's most top of mind? Where should we kick off?
I can't honestly believe that we're 50 days out. Like, where has the time gone? But I think for me, I'm most excited to get back to the excitement around the season, right? Like the buildup of every week we have a new game and the thrills and excitement that go into game days and watching college game day in the morning and then going to tailgate, going into the stadium of DKR and hearing the cannon go off and just seeing, right? Like the unlimited opportunities and possibilities of what a new season can bring us. And I think that honestly is what excites me the most at this point. Like what we've been talking and talking and talking about what this team can do, what their potential is. And now we're about to find out.
I know, like we've been like at first, the first of the year, we were like, okay, football's over, and we have until August, and when is it going to come back? And then all of a sudden, we're talking, we're like, next week is 50 days. Like, how did we get here? But also, all year long, we've talked about all the hype of this season and what's going to happen and where we're going to get to this season. And so, yeah, I'm ready for it. Let's go. Let's start it off. Let's get our butts to Columbus and let's see what happens.
Here's a weird one. I'm excited for the bandwagon. I have so many friends that
Yeah.
are going to be joining us this year going to games, and I'd say that as a positive thing. We have like stood 10 toes down for this team, for so many years, for so many seasons, through the ups and the downs, and we are on such an incredible climb. And what's happened is some people who are maybe just those peripheral fans who maybe have watched from afar or maybe not been so locked in and engaged, they are now. And they're like, hey, can I come to a game with you? So I'm excited for all the new phases.
Same. I love that you bring that up because I feel like stereotypically bandwagon has a negative connotation. But for us, we're like, yes, make the friend group bigger, bring all the people. We want them to experience the love and the passion that we have for this team, which I think is really freaking cool. And so many of them, I feel like, too, are from out of state, which is also exciting when you come to Texas. One of the things that you think about is Texas football. So come and witness how, everything is bigger in this freaking state.
What about the flip of like all of the home games versus away? I think that's one, I'd say that's probably one downside for some fans. I've seen them talk online about our home schedule. I know it's not for the three of us. We don't care. It could be any home schedule. We're going to be right there, ready to go, and just so excited. But it's our year two SEC. And so that means we'll flip the home schedule. And so even looking ahead to 2026, where we know our schedule will change within the SEC, how are y'all feeling about the way the schedule is looking this year for the home games?
Yeah, I was just about to say that. Like, I mean, I know we're still talking about everything that we're going to do this season and what's all going to happen, but it makes me excited to play these teams that, we didn't necessarily go to away that we'll see at home this year, and what we want to do if we want to travel and go to these other stadiums that we haven't been to. I think some of them are very exciting. And then plus looking into the next season and getting new teams. I know there's several other teams that we've talked about that we can't wait to play as well. So it's just 1 year closer to getting to that too. But I think we have a lot to look forward to this year as well.
Yeah, I mean, let's get into some of the actual football roster aspects. I know, Angie, you threw it out there. So why don't we just start with this one because we were all sort of giggling about it. Who do we want to see mic'd up? I feel like I know the answer to yours, Angie, but I'll let you throw it out, and then I'll give you my perspective on your answer.
I'm so curious, one, to know who you think I'm going to pick. But I have a few. So I have Arch on there, I have DeAndre Moore, and I have Jonah. Jonah, because us seeing him on the baseball field and the swag that he brings and all the controversy kind of that he started within baseball, I think it's so funny. And now to see they have this little thing, I feel like, I don't know if y'all have seen it going on with the soccer team, where some of them went out to the soccer team and were doing like goal kicks against the girls and vice versa. And it just was hilarious. I feel like he has so much personality that it would be hilarious to hear him mic'd up. Arch, obviously, I feel like he's just a little goober also, and would probably have these little cool, calm, collected one-liners you wouldn't expect, but would literally make everyone turn their heads and be like, what? And then DeAndre Moore was one for me after seeing them on that podcast. He was hilarious and had all these little witty comebacks and personality that you don't really get to see every day. So those are probably my top three that I would pick to want to hear mic'd up.
Yeah, actually, I was completely wrong. I just knew because you said you wanted a Colin Simmons jersey. Yes. I thought you would pick him, but with your question that you were asking us about earlier, I was just like, it would be super dope. I don't know if they've ever done this, and we don't play LSU this year, but Caden Durham is their running back who should have a breakout year, and they both played at Duncanville together and came out the same year. And like, if they on opposing teams would mic up the high schools that played together, that would be so cool. So maybe we'll get to see that in the future. Hopefully, whoever does broadcasting, they can listen to this and make that a thing. Yeah. What about you, Michelle?
I honestly thought Angie's was going to be Arch, and so that was one of your three, at least I got correctly. I feel like you answered that question like I would. Like, I can't pick, so I'm going to say three. But Arch would be my pick as well, but I just, every time you're like, the swagger, look at the team coming around him. I want to hear him when he like does his dances across the field, like what he's actually saying, what's happening. He's going to be, I know, so hyped this year. So hearing the words that are going to come out of his mouth, I think would be hilarious. So
what about you, Devin?
I don't know that I have one in particular. I'll have to see. I'm waiting for the season. When you asked, I was like, I want to see what develops during the season, and like usually narratives and stories, and even against the opposing teams, I feel like it's fun to have people mic'd up for certain games based on what's happening. So I'll give you my answer later in the season.
Yeah.
I also think it would be so interesting, like, to hear what the coaches say sometimes, like what actually is going on the sideline, like have Sark like to, or even like up in the booth. Like, what are they talking about up in the booth? Are they even talking? Are they just so focused, like with their headsets? What is the chaos that is ensuing?
This reminds me of like the famous Akina and Shockey like picture. Like, what was he saying to Shockey at the time?
Yes.
I feel like Sark talked about how it's like 4 straight hours of just like incredible focus. I feel like he would literally never allow, and you can like when you see him, you can tell he's just like so focused and quickly trying to like draw up what's next. I can't imagine.
Yeah, that's funny. I do love though that you brought up Colin, because he obviously, we love him, and he's one of our freshman guys that stood out last year. So I'm curious to know like who you guys think is going to be the star standout freshman for this year, who's getting that starting role on the field.
I think it's really hard to say. I'm going to go with the wide receiver room. I think there's still lots of opportunity at that position. We have Wingo, we have Moore. We know they're going to be the ones that sort of stand up and stand out for us. And it's so funny because they were interviewing Arch recently, and it was like, if it's 2 a.m., who are you going to call to like throw the ball to? And he mentioned those two, which I loved, and it sort of lended itself to how things have been going in this off season and as we prepare for season. But there's a lot of true freshmen in the wide receiver room. A, I'm personally excited to see them, but B, I think they're going to be the ones that sort of stand out most to me.
Yeah, I thought of wide receivers as well, and like having new ones come in. I also thought like, this is where I can't choose because I'm excited about a few. We had some gaps on the lines, whether it's defense or offense, and I think we have some really good players who are coming in, and excited to see them play as well and fill those gaps and what's going to happen. But this is where it'll be interesting who actually stands out and what true freshman. Who are you thinking, Ange?
I think a few things. Wide receiver, I had Lockett on my list. Devin, I think that you've mentioned him before and just the size of him and how lengthy he is. And we've all talked about this before too. We want to see some more deep balls. And I feel like he would be a great candidate for that, right? And as a freshman, people don't know, like the only tape that they have to watch on you is from your high school. So come out there and like shake some stuff up and put a little sprinkle like on the defense, like get them on their heels. And then Jonah again is on my list. I feel like he is a coach's dream with his athletic ability and so how versatile he is that you can kind of move him anywhere of where you need him on the field and he's going to show up.
So random. Did y'all see his, he retweeted, you know, they have the college football 26 game out now. And it was like, here's Jonah Williams. And it's his baseball jersey, like an actual photo of him and whoever this guy is. And it was like a really horrible graphic of him within the game. And he was just like laughing at it. So I knew you'd say Jonah, Angie. I feel like we're all so excited about him as well. I'm sure everybody is. Oh my gosh, I'm already having so much fun thinking about season. And I want to continue. But first, word from our sponsor, Luxe Kitchen and Bath.
This video is brought to you by Luxe Kitchen and Bath. Luxe has been offering high-end kitchen and bathroom remodels for 3 generations throughout the greater Austin area. With 5-star review after 5-star review on Google and Facebook, and an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau, you can put your faith in Luxe Kitchen and Bath's award-winning designers and skilled craftspeople to bring to life that dream vision of your special home. But that's not all. Luxe's all-star team provides full remodels, large additions, and even commercial build-outs as well. So call Luxe Kitchen and Bath at 833-358-LUXE today. Or visit luxekitchenbath.com to discover where quality meets luxury and begin the process of transforming your home. Get a free quote today by calling 833-358-LUXE. That's Luxe. Or by visiting luxekitchenbath.com. Link in the description.
All right. So what else? I was starting to think about what else I could possibly be excited about because there's so many things it's hard to hone in. I think just the story, like the stories of our team that will unfold. Arch getting the ball game 1 and being, our declared starter here and just his growth. I think I'm excited for his journey. I know that's an answer that probably anyone would say, but I think everything that's going to unfold from it and how this team will develop, that's one. And I'll throw out another, which is I'm ready to see because even the staff talked about this one most recently, that the defense is going to be just as good as, or if not better than last year's. And y'all know my thoughts on last year's defense, specifically secondary. So I'm ready to measure it up myself to see, and hopefully we get a chance to personally ask them and have them pit themselves against each other.
Yeah, I love that you brought that up because even in the conversations we've had with, Shockey and Aaron, and we're like, who's better, y'all or them? Like, I feel like it's always a conversation on the defensive side of the ball. And now, especially with Akina back, like, I feel like the stakes are so high and they're really going to be watching and paying attention. And like, what are y'all about to do? Because we want to see an Akina defense and how hard that they're going to go.
And I always have had a special place in my heart for Taft. So like seeing him stay this year and, I want it, obviously we all want it to make it to a natty, and that's what his end game is as well. So, I will be very exciting. And to that point, Devin, if they make it there, then people can't fight you and say that this defense isn't as good because they didn't get to a natty. So like, let's see it.
Well, remember, I couldn't even actually finish the conversation because that's what Quan Cosby told me. He was like, they actually have to play in the game. So it sort of unfortunately deaded the opportunity for us to finalize that conversation. But same as you, Michael came to mind, Michael Taft. I'm so happy he stayed behind. It's going to add another layer and level of leadership. And, Frank and I were discussing the first game out of the gate for us, Ohio State, and Jeremiah Smith, and just the tools that he's added to his toolkit. It's going to be fun to watch our secondary go against him. And so Frank was like, well, they were coached up by Blake Gideon. Is he still there? And I was like, no, he left. And we're so happy for him, but we're also sad. And he was like, uh-oh. And I was like, but we got Coach Akina back. He was like, oh, y'all straight. So I was like, yeah, we are. It'll be good.
That's so funny. I love that we brought up Ohio State games. So over the weekend, I was at a baby shower, and one of the families there, they are diehard Ohio State. and they're like, "Are y'all gonna be at the game?" And I was like, "We are." And they were like, "We can't wait for y'all to come to Ohio. Like, we want to take you to all the tailgates. We want to do all the things." But he was like, "Are you gonna be wearing that orange? Like, I don't know if that'd be a smart move." And I was like, "Do you know the Texas fans? Like, how are we not gonna show up in burnt orange? And what are you gonna say that's not gonna hurt us?" Like,
I feel like they're gonna embrace it, right? Like they're gonna be excited to have us. Like it'll be a cool game. But yeah, I mean, I think that's one of the games that this year that I'm looking the most forward to and traveling. And of course, it's our first game out of the gate. So bring it on, Ohio State. We have revenge to come back to.
I wonder if this is good or bad to mention. You know, we have Michigan to measure them against. So Michigan was actually really lovely. I think we thought the same things and heard the same things, Angie, going into that game, like, oh, what their fans will be like. And they were cool as hell.
Oh, nice.
So
Yeah.
you know, people are like, be afraid of the shoe. And I'm like, we gonna see. I mean, it's always talking. It's fun to talk like that. But I think it will be a great time. I think they'll welcome us. They will be happy that we're there.
I know.
I'm starting to think about, like, we keep
Yeah.
talking about outfits. Like, do we think it's going to be cold?
No,
Oh my gosh.
that's what they said. He's like, it's so hot in Ohio right now. We don't get all of the weather off of the lakes, so it's gonna be hot. And I was like, dang it.
Well, I talked to a Michigan fan like a couple months back, and he was shocked at how cold the game was when we played them. He was at that game. So listen, I picked my outfit out, and it ain't for hot weather, but it ain't for cold weather. So much like last year, I guess I'm gonna have to bring two outfits. It's very annoying because I have a vision for every game. So we're just gonna have to see what happens. I think it always will surprise us, especially as Texans, because like their hot versus our hot is also like not the same hot. So
Yes.
there's also
Very
that.
different. I also thought it was interesting. One other thing that he brought up was talking about how now a loss in the beginning of the season with two powerhouse teams like this doesn't have as much weight as it used to with the old format of going to the national championship and what that would look like, right? We keep hearing on all these other platforms, what if Texas loses this game and what if they this and what if they that? How do y'all feel about that comment?
I mean, it's true. It's not the BCS era anymore. It doesn't matter. We play in the SEC. Like, you know, a two-loss team, you're still controlling your destiny. And a two-loss team in the BCS, you most likely are not playing in that natty. Your season is over. So it's great because we have everything to gain and honestly nothing to lose playing against Ohio State, and that helps us a lot.
Sark mentioned this too. Like he hopes, you know, that the voting board, you know, doesn't like hurt us for playing in this game. There's a lot of teams that don't play in games like this, especially at the start or like in their season at all. We've talked about like what games we line up at the beginning of the season. Of course, this game was lined up a long time ago before Sark was even our coach, and before we knew they were going to win it. Like, it's funny that we've done this now, like back-to-back teams, our first games, but I would also agree we're not in the same era. And I hope, you know, it should, no matter what happens, it should, I would think, help either team in the long run for strength of schedule and whatnot. But
Love it. Well, like Michelle mentioned earlier, we're almost to the 50-day mark. Be counting down with us on socials. Be counting down with us on Inside Texas. We are getting so pumped up and cannot wait to chat more with y'all.